MC theory versus M theory. MC theory is my theory. It's the most complete and comprehensive theory of everything, which unites physics, chemistry, and biology. It is based on my search for and finding creator of our universe. This was the most difficult part of my epic journey, stretching 32 years of my life, starting from London and my base in London surgery. The new knowledge which I am sharing with the world of science is based on creators gifting me the core knowledge of origin of life and origin of universe, which is based on a special code called QC or quantum code, which I have enlarged it to include QUCL. Ironically, UCL is my university where I trained, University of London or University College London, which was part of University College Hospital, Medical and Dental College in London. QUCL has a separate meaning to it, and there's a reason for every letter in that. If I give 5 lectures, many of scientific misunderstandings will disappear completely. This is a separate science of my scientific discoveries in quantum science, which I will reveal slowly but in more detail as we go along. So MC theory is the most first complete theory of nature. Entire universe is made from that. Entire universe and everything in between, human beings, everything you can think about is made from that. Remember, Einstein had searched for 30 years of his life. He knew there was a deep divine order in the nature, and there had to be a creator or divine energy, and that is what I searched for and found that in my epic 32 years journey. But that was the most difficult part of life. After meeting the creator was even more difficult and took me further 16 years. So initially it took me 14 years to find that creator, the elusive entity, and I also found God. And after that, it took me further 16 years to reveal some of the finest details about creator or infinity or Brahman. Remember, M theory is all mathematics, is all beautiful mathematics, just like string theory is all mathematics. I'm talking about the fact I'm seeing it live, and I've seen it. I'm revealing the practical proof which scientists and mathematicians do not have. I've seen it live practically. My approach was completely different. I went against the flow of science and I hit the bullseye. I hit the jackpot after 14 years of search. And I'm showing something which mathematics cannot see. This is where Gödel was absolutely right. Mathematics cannot reveal all the mysteries of our universe. Mathematics cannot reveal consciousness. And herein lies the fundamental reason for my success and why I can reveal things, because they're all part of human consciousness. Remember, mathematics do not know human consciousness. They can't see human consciousness. Creator has made universe with consciousness as the epicenter of life and everything in the universe. This is the reason for my success. M theory is a theory which came about after Edward Witten united all the different string theories. There are about 4 or 5 different versions. We brought them out into a superstring theory. And then this new theory was named as an M theory. And this M theory, the fundamental pretext of the M theory is it is made up of 11 dimensions in the fundamental fabric of space-time. Human beings can only detect 3 special dimensions of space, and these 3 dimensions are explained by way of an analogy. Remember, if 3 dimensions, special dimensions are visible, that means there are 8 missing dimensions which are not visible to human beings. And this, they aver, is because of the complexity of the geometry of the inner dimensions, which precludes or prevents them from seeing the deeper dimensions, because then you are approaching into the Planck scale length. Now, Planck scale, for those people who don't know, it is the smallest dimension of the length. It is 1.0 0.1716 times 10 to minus 35 meters. Just imagine how small that is. And they say the modern science is they can't see these curled up dimensions or the hidden 8 dimensions because they're all wrapped up in the Planck length. The fundamental premise of M theory is that it is made up of 11 dimensions, and all those dimensions, they say, are real. The fact they don't see them does not mean they do not exist. In science, they've tried their best, but they still can't see the missing dimensions. They've used the facility of CERN, nuclear laboratories, and other scientific gravitational experiments they've done, but they still can't detect the gravitons or the hidden dimensions or the supersymmetric larger particles. The 3 dimensions average human being can understand because they are made up of that, and one can relate with that. The 3 dimensions are front and back, left and right, top and bottom. 3 special dimensions that can relate it. And Einstein added the 4th dimension of time with his theory of gravity or relativity. Now, once Einstein had done that with his theory of relativity, there was another scientist by the name of Kaluza who had brought on the concept of the 5th dimension. And he said, when he brought into the mathematics of the 5th dimension into Einstein's equations of matter and energy, he found that they revealed electromagnetism. They revealed Maxwell's equations of electromagnetism. Now, Klein, this was in around about 1919 when they were dealing and discussing with Einstein, Kaluza, and then Klein. Now let me explain the mystery first about the 3 dimensions. I've seen videos from Brian Greene who talks about the light pole and the ant on the light pole, or I've seen video of Lisa Randall who talks about her garden hose. And for simplicity, I will use the same analogy, that you look at a garden hose from a very long distance, it looks like a single line. Yet when you approach it closer, you see the length of the garden hose, but it also has got a circular length. So instead of just a length, we also have a circular or circumference to it. So it's got a 2nd dimension to it. The problem is the inner dimensions are curled deeper within that. In that analogy, scientists talk about a single proton is curled up inside deeper layers of dimensions of Planck length. And this is what the problem is. They can't see the deeper layers because Planck length is almost 20-fold smaller than a proton, and they have nothing in science to detect those dimensions. So these 3 dimensions they have, and the time, or 4th dimension, which Einstein had introduced, and then Kaluza had introduced a 5th dimension. Now he said the mathematics is perfect. Einstein didn't believe in that. He says implausible, but it's good, but he did not believe it, didn't accept it, let's be honest. And then, but the mathematics prove that it's absolutely real. So the question is, if the mathematics is so real, why don't they feel the 5th dimension, or why don't they see the 5th dimension? Then this concept is brought of the 3 brains, BRANE, or 3 membranes. The universe is wrapped on the outside by 3 brains, which has an internal structure of these 11-fold dimensions. Now the 5th dimension, I know scientists cannot see, but I have seen the 5th dimension. It is very small, it is very beautiful, which in turn is based on the code, creator's code, not mine, creator's code of what I call quantum code, QC. This is the sum bonum of everything in the universe is made from that. And I've included the word Q, U, C, L, because then I can bring into the equation the 5th dimension and the missing dimensions of the string theory. Do remember, M theory Before that, it was string theory. The world is made up of fine strings, but scientists can't find any evidence of the strings. I have seen live strings. They are absolutely real. So string theory, then the concept also arises after that of multiple dimensions and super larger symmetrical particles. Nobody can see them. They tried experimental tests to try and see if, but they can't see that. The supersymmetric larger particles are absolutely real. I have seen them live. I will reveal the pictures of what they look like as I explain more of my MC theory. And the concept of curled up inner dimensions, I have seen all the 6 missing curled up smaller inner dimensions. They are absolutely real. Again, I'll reveal the evidence of that from my discovery of quantum code. Scientists aver that these compaction or jammed up smaller inner dimensions are so small and they affect us from seeing them. They're so small we have nothing to measure the smaller dimensions. And the light photons cannot get into those to reveal the magic of what's hidden or curled up about the 8 dimensions. Calevi and Yao talked about the geometry of the 6 curled up dimensions and the concept of supersymmetry, which is stable, and that is true. But I'll leave that for the moment because mostly it is based on geometry. I will reveal practically how symmetry and supersymmetry manifests. Despite scientists trying a variety of beautiful experiments, they still cannot nail it. They know that everything is stable with a cosmological constant, which, remember, Einstein had deleted, which was one of his biggest mistakes in life when he saw the Hubble telescope and the expanding universe. Again, that's another beautiful separate subject which I'll reveal one day when I talk about the dark energy and dark matter. And I have discovered what they are and what happens, why the universe is expanding as well. So everything which we human beings see is confined within these 3 spatial dimensions. What scientists don't know is within those 3 dimensions they are made from quantum code. And within this quantum code are 6 curled up dimensions. And the 11th dimension, which is the 5th dimension of Kaluza and Klein, is where I will reveal, I've got the scientific proof of that, is where God lives. I've discussed this about the 5th dimension where God lives, but I've not started explaining about the Creator who has made the 5th dimension, has made God, and all his knowledge is completely covered up about the origin of universe and origin of life. Remember, the maker of 5th dimensions and 11th dimensions and God is Creator or infinity, is separate from God, and how it had made everything before even the inception of the universe is completely covered up and is a separate lecture. I will reveal the scientific structure of God separately in a separate video. And more importantly, where the origin of life and universe comes into being. There's a deeper level of knowledge which I explained in the Gita, but you can read all of that, or one day when I give a live practical lecture I will reveal more slowly some of the details, because there's so much depth of knowledge I need to cover. In a short video I can't cover everything. Mathematics of the 11 dimensions of M theory reveals that reality is constrained and we can't see everything. So being visible is one thing, and seeing the reality of that is a separate thing. And that is why many people avert that reality does not exist, which is wrong. Reality does, except scientists don't know it.